Now that the NFL draft is over, we asked the question, which quarterback that was just drafted is most likely to play this season for their team? Let's talk about each one and see when each quarterback will actually get game time. All that coming up in just a minute. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jay here with Unfair Sports, where we take a pensive approach to the sports conversation. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button and also share. Why? Because sharing is caring. And the only way this content gets out there is because of you, the people.
All right, so trying to defend y'all Knicks fans, but you're not making it as easy for me. So you gotta get a little therapy. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so Jay, to wrap up,
Put a bow on it.
Let's go to the NFL because we really haven't had a chance to talk about this since I've been away the last couple of weeks, and that is post-draft, where you had 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. We all know who they are. We all know where they went. And immediately what you think about is, when will each of these quarterbacks start? So you have Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. So now that the schedule is out, that combined with the schedule being out, we can look at and get a feel for when and if these quarterbacks, these rookie QBs, might take over as the franchise quarterback for their team.
Okay.
So let's go through each one of them, and I want you to tell me when you believe each one will start their first game, or which week they'll start their first game.
Okay.
All right. So let's start with Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars, #1 pick.
Day one.
Day one?
There's nobody else to start for that team.
What would Gardner Minshew have to do to get them to hold off on that?
Learn how to play quarterback.
He doesn't know how to play quarterback, Jay.
He does?
Yeah, he scrambles, he throws the ball, and then, hopes for the best.
And that actually playing quarterback, though?
Yeah. I guess that's more so playing Madden.
There you go. Exactly.
Gardner Madden. All right. Next, Zach Wilson of the New York Jets. #2 pick.
Day one.
Day one?
There's no one else on the Jets roster to actually play quarterback.
They actually don't have any other quarterback on the roster.
Yeah, I think they're actually extremely limited when it comes to who's going to actually be there. They have James Morgan, who's also a rookie, and Mike White, Western Kentucky and Florida International.
What?
No clue who they are.
I mean, okay, I understand you want Zach Wilson to be your day one starter, but shouldn't you have some sort of a veteran who knows what they're doing behind him? I mean, if he goes down week 2, you're looking at another #2 pick, which obviously doesn't bother you because...
Which sounds like that's what they're trying to do anyway. Yeah. Which I feel bad for all these players that are on this team, as they have to sit through and take L after L after L in this situation.
I mean, they've made some offseason
moves. Get their bodies beat up to go for another #2 pick.
Whew. Okay, but I agree with you, Zach Wilson, week 1, Trevor Lawrence, week 1. All right, now let's go to San Francisco, #3 pick. Move the farm to get him Trey Lance of North Dakota State.
So now this was an interesting one because Trey Lance is technically a project. That is the thought process with him. He is a Patrick Mahomes type project. And y'all, a lot of people may take offense to that. There's no shade to Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes coming in, the reason why Kansas City traded up for him is that they felt like he was a project, and that's why he fell so far in there. Mm-hmm. People complained about his mechanics, and they felt like his vision wasn't there, and there was a lot of things to work on. And KC took time. They took a full year, put him behind a veteran, and he learned it. So in that situation, that worked out perfectly. Trey Lance is, once again, that he hasn't had enough snaps in a lot of people's eyes. I don't know if that really matters. I think it's more so how can you break down the film and how you're going to react on it, which could be something to do with snaps. I don't know. I'll digress. Mm-hmm. I see him probably jumping in the reins of the starting position, probably closer to Thanksgiving, depending on how San Francisco's playing. If San Francisco's winning, he does not play. If San Francisco's losing, he does play.
Okay, I'm close to you. I said what I believe is week 8 at home against the Cardinals, and here's the reason why.
That's a...
Yeah, here's the reason why. Okay, so the first 2 games are against the Lions and the Eagles. They're going to beat them. And then you have the Packers, loss. You have the Seahawks, sorry 49ers fans, loss. Then you have the Cardinals, who they hate playing, loss. Then you have the Colts coming to San Francisco, probably a loss. You have the Bears. I think they're going to beat the Bears. That'll be a really good game, a really good place for them to start, at least for television. Then after that, they'll be 3-4-ish. Jimmy Garoppolo will have lost the starting position. He will have lost the locker room, and they already see him as a starter because in some of the early conferences that they had before they took Trey Lance, one of the things that Kyle Shanahan said was that they moved up because they want a starting quarterback.
Yep.
They want a quarterback to be their starter, which is basically a way of saying we don't see Jimmy Garoppolo as our starter. He's going to be the starting quarterback, but he's not our starter. So I think by then, in order to change the trajectory of the season and get the locker room back, they're going to put the kid in who by that point will have had 2 months worth of regular season to quickly learn how to become a pro, in addition to the summer to learn the playbook, get used to the teammates, staff, etc. So they feel like by then he'll be ready, week 8.
Okay, that's a very interesting take on that. All right.
All right, up next, number 11 pick, Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. When will he start?
Justin Fields?
Mm-hmm.
So that one's a tough one because I looked at Chicago's schedule. They're traveling to L.A. for the first game against the Rams, and they got the Bengals at the house. Mm-hmm. The Browns come to the house. They travel to Cleveland. Then they have the Lions come into town. They travel to Las Vegas. The Packers come to town. They travel to Tampa. The 49ers come to town. They travel to Pittsburgh. Just about every game this season, actually, their schedule, every other game is on the road.
Oh, God.
It's literally an alternation every single week. So they don't have 2 games in a row at home.
Well, their first 2 are at home, and after that is then you have 2 on. No. You're right. I was looking at
every other game is home away.
Why do they do them like that?
I know that to me is probably the most disrespectful thing of them all. They could at least gave them 1 or maybe 2 home games in a row. I think if the Bears had 2 home games in a row, that will probably be around the time we'd see Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
But their quarterback's Andy Dalton, and I don't think Andy Dalton's going to do very well in the first 4 games. So in that case, I can see them going ahead and rolling the dice with him against the Las Vegas Raiders. Take him to Las Vegas.
What week is that?
That's going to be week 5.
Okay.
Go ahead and just take him down there and make it happen.
I'm going to say training camp is when he's declared the starter. And, when you look at Justin Fields, you see a lot of Russell Wilson-esque traits.
Yes.
Who was able to do the exact same thing, win the starting position essentially in training camp during the preseason. So I think that
interesting take.
When they look at going into the season with Andy Dalton as your starter, who one could say at this point is, or perhaps has always been, a less athletic version of Mitchell Trubisky, having to look forward to that for an entire season or even 1 game of a season, I don't think that they're going to want to do that. I think that they're going to want to get him in there from the very beginning. And then if something goes wrong with that in terms of an injury, then you bring in Andy Dalton. And that way the fans won't kill you because they were about ready to before the draft. They were ready. They wanted the heads of Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace because I listened to some of the Bears Sports Talk Radio and they weren't having any of it. So now that you have Justin Fields, you further give the fans in your organization what they need, which is him, again, like San Francisco, a guy who gives you an extra dimension when the play doesn't work or when your play calling is not what it should be. So I think that it's really the leadership. I think that he's got that leadership intangible that will help him to win. It's all about winning the locker room. That's a huge part of it because the players know, they're going to know in practice that he's already better than Andy Dalton. So they won't have a choice but to give him the reins in training camp, and that's exactly what I think will happen.
Okay.
All right. So lastly, everyone's favorite Big Mac Jones of the New England Patriots, number 15 pick. When do you think Mac Jones will take over as a starter for the Patriots?
Next season.
Okay. Gotta explain.
Yeah, I don't see him taking the job this year. Giving Cam Newton a summer in the system is going to be a difference maker, as well as actually getting him weapons. You remember, most of that team was depleted. Damn near half the roster left due to COVID, set out. So New England was a different monster than they've ever been last season. That was an anomaly type season. Mm-hmm. And Cam, of course, looked like he wasn't as healthy or as focused due to him catching COVID. And he said he was a little bit disheveled through most of the season. But I think having a full summer and being able to truly focus in the system and work hard, as Belichick and them said, he's a hard worker. And they saw the hard work. It just didn't work out. That's why they signed him again. They wanted one more year so they can build for that future quarterback. And I think for this season, I don't see them pulling him back. I see them playing him more. And because of that, this is the 1 year that Cam will actually get a full season with this team in preparation for Mac Jones to take over, similar to Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
And I'm not comparing Mac Jones to Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying that he's going to sit behind the veteran for a year, and he's going to absorb. He's going to probably build a whole new playbook and have that prepared to put Mac Jones out next year.
I say that Mac Jones is going to be the week 1 starter
in
2022. So I'm in total agreement because you take Cam, you take those free agent tight ends, you take the opt-ins, and you take the defense that's going to be much better this season. They will have no reason to put Mac Jones in there because I think Cam is going to get the job done. I think his job is going to be so much easier this year.
Yes, you don't want to throw him out you don't have to throw Mac Jones to the Lions den because Cam Newton is good enough to do everything you need to get done. Especially because you said everybody's back that's going to be back, and they added weapons finally.
Right. And so here's the thing with the quarterbacks that they've drafted after Brady, none of them have worked out. So really, this confidence that we have in Mac Jones, even if it's to start next season, it's not as cemented as it should be. I know he came from Alabama, national championship, and all of that. He's the most decorated quarterback that they've drafted. Post Tom Brady, we'll say. But even with that, if Cam has the kind of season that we think he's going to have, I don't think there's any reason for them not to want to sign him again. He really likes Belichick.
Yes.
He likes playing in New England. So if they're successful this season, and later on in the summer we'll talk about that, I think they're going to have a very successful season. He'll have no reason to leave, meaning he'll still be the starter, meaning that Mac Jones won't play. So it could be week 1, 2023.
Yeah, or he could be Mac Jones could be a project and they push him out. Yeah,
or like just give him the Ryan Mallett treatment, draft him for more picks because you like what you have as a starting QB. Now I don't know how old Cam is going to be. What is he? 31?
Yeah, he's kind of old.
Which now for quarterbacks, as long as you take care of yourself, 31 is a new 21.
Not in the way that Cam Newton plays football.
Probably
Cam
not. Yeah, he's taking a lot of shots.
He's a bruiser. He's 32.
32.
He's a bruiser. He's not going to make the league last unless he reinvents his game. Mm-hmm. And the best part about Cam Newton is his short yardage ability.
True.
Unless he gets rid of a lot of that, he's not going to last at 35. I'll give him 2 more seasons.
Okay.
So I give him this season and next season before I think that Cam's body starts to really fall apart. But he does take care of himself, which is but at the same time, there's limits to the human body. Okay.
So we agreed on Mac Jones.
We agree on Mac. So, Jimmy, since you have that, I got to ask you, there's 2 players that I believe will potentially see the field this year. And I want to see if you think correction. I think I know that both of these are going to see the field this season. I want to see if you're in agreement.
Okay,
all right, I got 2 players. First off, Kellen Mond in Minnesota. Do you see him taking the position from Kirk Cousins this coming season?
I mean, taking it, not injury related?
Yes, taking it.
Absolutely not. They love Kirk Cousins. You know that. They give him fully guaranteed money. They've done it twice, right? No way. There is no way he takes over for him.
I'm saying yes. And I'm also saying that Minnesota's probably going to do it.
Well, wait a minute. No, I'm going to stick with Kirk.
He
had another 4,000-yard season. Yeah, no. Kellen Mond will not see the field this year.
Kellen Mond is a big dude. And they also, let me see, first 4 weeks, they're traveling to Cincy, Arizona.
Win,
they have the
Seahawks.
At home. Seahawks at home. Browns at home. Lions at home.
Win.
Panthers on the road. Cowboys at home.
Loss.
Ravens on the road.
Loss.
Chargers on the road.
Loss.
Packers at home.
Loss.
San Francisco on the road.
Loss.
Lions on the road.
Loss.
Steelers at home.
Loss.
Bears on the road.
Loss.
So I'm telling you now, I think in between there's somewhere one more bad game from Cousins. They're going to go ahead and try Munn and see what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
That's my pick on that one.
Okay, so you would say is because somebody's got to have a down year. Not every team can go 9-8 or 10-7.
Exactly. Now, here's your second one.
Okay.
Davis Mills,
who I drafted in a dynasty league. Does he see the field? Absolutely, he sees the field. I don't know what week, because behind him is who, or in front of him is who, I should say.
They just signed a couple of quarterbacks. Let's just look at who their roster is, because I honestly do not remember.
Okay.
I had it up. They have Ryan Finley, Tyrod Taylor.
Okay. Tyrod's going to – open as a starter. We know how this goes. We've seen the trajectory of his unfortunate career in that sense, that he starts the season and then either an injury or something weird happens, like he gets a cortisone shot somewhere he should not have gotten a cortisone shot.
Yep.
And the guy takes over. So I'd say that, yeah, he's going to see the field this year. We'll say, do you have their schedule pulled up?
Yes.
I'm sure it's all losses the first 4 weeks of the season.
That's so rude.
Yeah.
They travel to that Jacksonville comes to them.
Loss.
I think they're going to win that game. They travel to Cleveland.
Loss.
The Browns. That's an L. The Panthers come to town.
They might win that game.
They travel to Buffalo.
Loss. Double loss.
The Patriots are coming to town.
Loss.
They travel to Indianapolis, and then they
Loss.
travel to Arizona.
Loss.
And they have the Rams come to town.
Loss.
Travel to Miami.
Forfeit the rest of the season. At that point.
This rest of their
You know what?
division, basically, for the most part. So, yeah, I'm going to say Davis Mills starts within the first 2 weeks.
I'm going to give Tyrod 4. I'm going to give him a full month. And I say week 5, whatever loss that was, that's where they bring in Davis Mills.
Okay. I mean, Taylor only got a 1-year deal, so
Yeah.
that tells you that it's awesome, that possibility he's going to do that. And only one other player left, really, if you really want to talk about it, is Ian Book.
Who I also drafted in a Dynasty League.
Did you really drafting him, too?
I just needed somebody to draft. I don't plan on keeping him. No, he's not going to see the field. It's going to be the Jameis. They're going to do like the old Florida Tebow Chris Leak type setup where they're going to alternate between Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill unpredictably. Just like in the middle of plays, they're going to pull one of them out while the play's still going on and put the other one in to finish the play. That's what New Orleans is going to do.
I can see that.
So
I don't think Trask is going to see any time either.
No.
He's behind the GOAT, so
absolutely
that's
not
not going to happen. So definitely, I could totally see that. So.